Hello and welcome to Smiling Souls. This is Stephanie Keenan Ray and Wendy Tadiucci. How you doing today, Wendy?
I'm thirsty.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had to take a drink. Doing really, really well.
Nice.
So what we have discovered, Nikki and I, before you got on, Nikki's a curly-haired girl, just like me, just like you. So she's in the right place. I love that. Let's see, what else is happening today? What else is happening? Well, we've got our Lean Into the Light thing today. Event, workshop, healing session, whatever you want to call it. Just because things are heavy.
Yep.
In the world right now. And Stephanie, when you called me on Tuesday morning and said, you know, a lot of people are feeling the heaviness and a lot of people are struggling. You want to do something about it? And I was like, yeah. And like it
fell right into place. I just like, bim, bam, boom. By like 3 p.m., I think I had an outline for you guys. And like, this is the plan.
Oh my gosh, this is the plan. So we've got that today. I'm very excited about that. I've had a very abundant week. And I'm celebrating that. And I'm looking forward to next week because it's not going to be such an abundant week.
Okay, cool.
On the calendar,
right? I clearly caught a thing, and so I've had an interesting voice all week, and but today we're feeling okay for the most part. So yeah, hopefully I've got my tea, I've got a cough drop if I need it, and all the things. So if I mute myself, there's a reason.
Gotta cough it out, whatever you need to do.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's been a good week, and you know, going forward, we've got, you know, going into February, it's like we've been whatnot. Like there's all sorts of things happening, and in the creative and in CHEO and for us. So yeah, there's so much happening that I'm really excited for. Abundant, yes.
Oh my gosh, I totally forgot. So the Gilmore Girls Trivia Night was a hit. It was fun. I loved being in that space with other women that also love the show. So that's part of the Peaceful Pages Collective.
Nice.
Is that the show you're talking about?
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, Nikki doesn't know about the.
No, I've not heard.
It's been off the air. It's having a moment. It's having a resurgence thanks to Netflix.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Right. Yeah. So sorry, that was not the response I wanted to have.
It kind of is because she's sick of me talking about it, so it's totally appropriate. I get it. Love you.
I love you too. Yeah, and then for kind of up in the future, Amy Mrazis and Jen B and I have some stuff up our sleeves. We're going to be doing, so we're in February, we're going to do a like a storytelling social hour one evening, the last Friday in February. So we'll tell stories and just, you know, unmute ourselves. Like it's a whole unmute yourself theme. And and then we might do another one in March. And then in April, we are going to be doing an Unmute Yourself workshop that'll be like all about confidence and, you know, creating your story and writing your, you know, and presenting and letting yourself be heard. So, yeah, we've got a couple things up our sleeve. It all started with me calling both of them being like, hey, do you want to do a workshop for the Creative Network? And the next thing I knew, we were creating a whole other completely different from what I envisioned. I was like, okay, that exploded.
It went that way.
It went that way, but we're cool with it. It feels like it's needed. Yeah.
Oh, I love all that.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
Right?
All right. Should we do Oracle cards today?
We shall.
We shall. You want to go first?
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. So I chose from my Whispers of Aloha, and I chose Generate Shifts.
Ooh, beautiful.
A new dynamic. This is on point because I've been trying to think things out, figure things out, giving myself space to do that. So, on point. Just as the moon has many phases, I think there's a full moon coming up too, but anyway. The opportunity to create changes in your life is upon you. Determine what you would like to improve. That hits because I'm trying to improve some things. Remaining passive with the usual routine will no longer suffice. Do a self-assessment and figure out where you would like to make alterations. Use whatever means will help you clarify what needs to shift. You might just know that you want to alter some of your behaviors. If you need help pinpointing your desires, write down what you like about yourself and your life and where you would like to make progress. Change is inevitable, but this does not mean you are letting go of your identity or the positive qualities of who you are. Your attributes have brought you to where you are at this moment. Aspects of yourself that may not be so complimentary have played a role in your existence. Consider using the moon cycles to take inventory of your goals and intentions. The new moon is an excellent time for new objectives or to start new projects. Sit in meditation at the new moon and ask your heart what you long to create or achieve. It might be a good time to dust off your goals and reassess them. During the full moon, take inventory, clear clutter or distractions, and realign with your goals. This says, for this card, Goddess Hina's hair sparkles from star glow, and moonlight. Stars pertain to divine guidance and enlightenment. She appears to be dreaming of her ideal life. Nothing in your life will change unless you take steps toward your transformation. Love that card. So on point.
Yay!
As per usual.
Right.
How about you, Stephanie? What did you pull?
So I pulled from my Archangel Oracle deck, and this one just jumped out of the deck at me. So apparently it's what I needed, and it's prosperity. So it says it is Archangel Ariel. I'm going to take these. Those are blue light blockers, and I cannot read with them. Your material needs are provided as you follow your intuition and manifest your dreams into reality. I'm pouring a cornucopia of prosperity upon you and your life and ask that you open your arms to receive. Some of the treasures will come in the form of brilliant ideas, and some will come as opportunities. We'll work together to realize your highest dreams, and I ask that you give any worries to me. God and I love you very, very much and are happy to help you in this way. We know that you'll pass along the goodness to others as well. Working with Archangel Ariel. Ariel is involved with divine magic, which means instant manifestation of the highest will. Ariel helps you attract any support you need for your life's mission. Know that it's normal and in the right light for miracles to occur in this arena. Ariel's aura is a pale shade of pink, and if you wear or hold rose quartz crystal, your heart will open further to Ariel's magnificent love. Ask her for whatever you need, and she'll guide you accordingly.
You didn't see this because I was reading, but when you said reach out your hands to receive, I went like this.
Yeah. Right? Well, and it said something about like may come in the form of brilliant ideas. I'm like, well, that seems to be my way of manifesting things. So
yeah, for sure. That is your way always. I'm like, she came up with another one. Nice.
Bing, bang, boom.
Bing, bang, boom. I love it.
Thank you.
Okay. And so it's Nikki's turn. I pulled a card for our guest today, Nikki, and I pulled Archangel Metatron, who also has a lovely shade of pink around him. Coincidence? Yeah. This says, your current situation is in alignment with your mission on Earth. Metatron, the throne next to God, is said to be one of the youngest of the archangels. alongside his twin brother Sandalphon. Quabbalistic, I did mispronounce that, texts support the idea that he once lived upon the earth as Enoch, who was a prophet and the great-grandfather of Noah. As an angel, Metatron is guiding this age. This powerful archangel, I told you he was a little demanding. This powerful archangel governs the sacred sciences, helps us understand the interconnectedness of all things, and is supporting us as we enter an age of awareness and growth. Your message, Nikki. Mm-hmm. When Metatron comes to you, here he is, it's because you are part of the powerful shift that is unfolding on Earth during your lifetime. So proceed, keep going, and don't give up. There is a sacred bridge of light between heaven and earth, and that bridge is you. Your life hasn't happened by chance or accident. You have been chosen. The divine has recruited you to fulfill a great mission that will bring healing and change to planet Earth. You might feel you're on a roller coaster and be unsure if you should continue or not. But there's a karmic alignment occurring, and therefore, what you're facing and pushing through now is absolutely in alignment with your mission. Energetically, there is a cleanup process unfolding. Cleanup, aisle 6, whatever. So it might feel a little bit messy or overwhelming, but trust that you are on the right path, and your angel team is supporting you and your mission. I started tearing up because I felt like this stuff is also speaking to us. Mm-hmm. When it said there is a sacred bridge of light between heaven and earth, and that bridge is you. Mm-hmm. Because I feel like that's the work that we're doing, mm-hmm. that Nikki's also doing. So anyway.
Okay.
Fascinating, actually.
Yeah. How so?
Well, I mean, for one, the first thing that caught me is like, I'm a science nerd. So I'm like, obviously, what I do, this is what I do. It's what I research, it's what I love. It's everything that I am, essentially, Right. But also spiritual, right? I'm a Christian. Mm-hmm. And it just the things feel wonky, and I'm trying to, literally for the past 6 months have been trying to organize and put things in place and do things to get things ready and move forward, and mm-hmm. questioning, and all of the things that this has said. The only thing that didn't hit is the karmic thing. I'm not a mm-hmm. Karma kind of girl, but everything else is like, wow, that's super cool.
That is cool.
Well, and the thing that Metatron is sacred sciences.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And you're right. Mm-hmm. In the science realm. I'm like, okay,
yeah.
Beautiful. Love it.
Super cool. Okay. Would you like take a picture? I can't think. Sorry. Take a picture of that and send it to me. I would love that.
Absolutely. I will do that after.
Can you hold the card up one more time? Oh, yeah. Because for me, I think it was like really interesting that so Nikki's got all those angles and triangles around her, and so does Metatron, and then they're wearing not quite the same color, but like a pinky, purpley color, and the dark brown hair. I was like, wow, that's weird. It's awesome, but it's weird.
Not weird. It's divinely guided.
Exactly.
That's why. Okay. Yes. I will send you the card after the podcast, because I can't do two things at once. It doesn't.
Yes, I get it.
Hey, quick question. When was the last time road traffic made you a better human? What if your time behind the wheel could actually make you calmer, kinder, and even happier?
Ooh, great question. So Connie Warden's book, Speeding to Compassion, Life Lessons and Humor to the High Road, turns road rage into road wisdom. She shares funny stories, relatable moments, and simple ways to stay calm, even when someone cuts you off for the third time before coffee. Because the real journey isn't your commute, it is your state of mind.
Find your calmer lane and grab a copy wherever books are sold. Also, you might want to check the show notes because Connie is offering a $5 coupon off of her book, as well as 2 free 30-minute online yoga classes. Just go to conniewarden.com to find the information.
Ooh, what a way to calm down. Do a little yoga and then get in your car.
Right?
I love
Absolutely.
Okay, and so now I get to introduce our guest today. So Smiling Souls, Stephanie and I are so happy to welcome you, Nikki. Nikki Burnett, MSCNTPMNT, is a functional nutritionist. She is the founder of Taste Life Nutrition and an unapologetic disruptor of the broken, sick care model. I love it already. Nikki helps wellness-driven individuals who feel unheard by conventional medicine reclaim their energy, clarity, and vitality. Her signature program, Your Precision Wellness Blueprint, The Science of You, uses genetics, blood type, metabolic patterns, and spirit-led wisdom to uncover what's blocking optimal health. No guesswork, no one-size-fits-all advice. After overcoming her own health struggles, Nikki became her own detective and now empowers others to do the same. She specializes in GI dysfunction, autoimmune conditions, hormone balance, and fertility, guiding clients to create lasting health for themselves and future generations. Through her internationally syndicated Taste Life Nutrition radio and podcast, Nikki sparks honest, data-driven conversations that empower people to reclaim control of their health, purpose, and future. Body, mind, and spirit. Welcome to Smiling Souls, Nikki.
Thank you. Thank you.
Our pleasure.
Yeah.
I think the first question that I have is, tell us about your health struggles and journey, if you would.
Yeah. I'm an open book. And I talk about it all the time. So essentially I keep it as short and sweet as I can, but I was dating my now husband. We'd been dating for about a year, and I developed a headache. I mean, just sort of random, and it didn't go away for 2 years. So it was a whole, yeah. It's one of those things, my husband, not too long ago, he's like, you talk about it as a headache. This was not a headache. This was like game-changing, mind-bending, can't function kind of stuff. And it's true. I just hate to, anyway, sort of belabor points. But yeah, it stunk. It really did. My head would start spinning and go crazy as I'm driving down the highway, and my ears would clog up. And it was this whole crazy thing. And so, basically I do all the things that everybody tells you, or not tells you, but that you do. You go, you see your doctors. I did the totally woo-woo. I did the totally conventional. I did the MRIs and the scans and the diets and the detoxes. I mean, you name it, colonics. I mean, I did it. I'm like, whatever it is. And I spent tons of money. And it was like, and the biggest thing that I got was, everybody has the right answer, and it's nobody's fault, right? Everybody, especially in our world, right? We all want to help. That's what we do. Yeah. But nobody ever had the right answer for me. So I just had to start figuring out what I had to become. I'm curious anyway, but more curious. I had to start digging in. What is happening? Why is this happening? What's going on with my body? So it was just this process of learning to listen, to understand, to ask questions, so many questions. And so, the cool thing about it is, as you start going through this process and you start listening to what symptoms are, right? It's the body talking to us. Then I started to understand what it was saying, and I started partnering with my body. And so that's what I try to teach people now, because the body's ultimate goal is to keep us alive. That's really it. And if we're at war, which is what happens a lot of times, people are like, why does food hate me? Why does my body hate me? Why do I have this brain fog? Why do I have this pain? I mean, I was there. And so if we're sitting here just constantly fighting, we're not in alignment, and it's just everything becomes chaos, right? And so it's just the process of that coming together, being in alignment and being in partnership with your body and going, okay, what is it that you're telling me? What is it that I need to give you so you can do your job? Because all of these things, if it's lacking, whether it's in nutrition or if there are infections or, you name it, if there's trauma, all of these things are going to create issues if we're not in alignment and not giving it what it needs. So essentially, it just brought me to this point to where I was like, okay, well, this is the stuff that I need to do for others. It's just be that detective for them and help them learn to be their own detective.
Did your headache go away?
It did. So the day we got married, I didn't have a headache, which was really cool. Yeah. So I'll tell you what it ended up being for me was more biomechanical as opposed to biochemical. So I have a curve in my spine, and I think it created degeneration in this joint, and so it was hitting that nerve. So to me, so it wasn't doing a bunch of testing and stuff, although I did. But it was the process of learning the modalities, learning the testing, learning all of these things, being in the medical world, both conventional and otherwise. At the time, there wasn't really functional; it was brand new. I didn't know anything about it, but it was step by step learning all the pieces. So now I can help others advocate. Learn their own thing, right? With them and take it with them for their lifetime. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Wow. Yeah, I can totally see how your journey has brought you here.
Yeah. It's interesting. It's people will ask me all the time, how did you get into what you're doing? My background, I have a master's degree in animal science. I thought I was going to go to vet school. So I didn't, it wasn't nutrition. I had no, and so my answer is always God, because he knew, I didn't know. I was like, okay, here we are.
Yep.
100%. He knows all, he sees all, he's the guy.
Yeah.
What was I just lost it. Oh, got it. It came back. Okay. So what struck me in your bio, one of the things was you don't focus on, healthcare because healthcare is broken. It's sick management. And you shift that into, what do you call it? Wellness?
Well, more precision wellness. Is that
precision wellness? There was something specific that jumped out for me. Where can I find it? Steph, maybe take over until I can find this. Wellness driven. Wellness, right? Yeah. And so it's just a different mindset shift into, okay, you're managing your sickness, you're managing your wellness. That's what I got from the bio.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I think that's key. And it goes back to that partnership, right? Right. And a lot of times we have to find help to help us find how to partner with our bodies, right? That's why I do what I do. And I had the same thing. We all need to have our team. But it is about getting away from, so let me back up. Conventional medicine has a huge place in our world, right? There is a place for it, especially when it comes to acute care. And especially when it comes to sometimes for some people, managing life while you're trying to get better, right?
Yeah.
But we can't just sit here and say, I'm supposed to be on, say, Prozac, right? We don't have a deficiency of Prozac. That's a huge problem. So if we need some things for a period of time to manage while we're doing the work, that's okay. But it's this lifelong drug after drug after drug after drug after drug, surgery after surgery, what if we didn't need the surgery? I work with, I have, kind of referral partners that they're like, our job is to keep you from having surgery, right? Yep. And I think that's the ultimate goal. Surgery should be a last ditch effort because it's so traumatic. But so are drugs, right? And I worked with an immunologist for just under a couple of years, and that's what I saw. Just so often is the list of pile on drugs. I'm like, how do we know if the symptoms are from the issue or the symptoms are from all of the drugs?
Right.
It's maddening.
Mm-hmm.
So it's too much. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now I know you and I talked, we get into, we're both dorks, so we love to talk, genetics, epigenetics. So, I'm going to open the can right away. Let's get into it. Let's have some fun. Share with us, first off, what is epigenetics? I think a lot of people are like, what?
I've not heard of that.
Yeah, it's really cool. I think more and more people are learning the term, but it's still what exactly does that mean? Because we know genetics, we've been taught genetics in school. And so, genetics is, basic stuff, right? Genetics is our hair color, our skin color, our, eye color. Those are the things that typically don't change. They can, but they don't typically change. And then epigenetics. So the cool thing about epigenetics, they're locations that sit on top of genes that turn our genes on and off. So they control gene expression. The beautiful thing about that, so what we thought was the case back, say, late 90s was if my family all has cardiovascular disease or diabetes, right, then that's what I'm going to have too. And I don't have any choice in that.
Yeah.
Now, what we know now, based on epigenetics, is what controls epigenetics is everything that we choose to do every single day.
Yep.
So it's the beautiful piece. I mean, to me, this is God's gift of free will.
Yep.
In science, right? It's biological. Is that the choice that I make, what I put in my mouth, what I put on my skin, what I put in my environment, how I talk to myself. It's some things we can't control. We can't always control trauma, but that can impact gene expression as well.
Yeah.
Sorry. My heart's racing a little bit. So,
okay.
Breathe a little bit. Yeah, it's an interesting place to be. But so the beautiful piece of that is I can choose the way that my genes express in large part, right? And so, and there's millions of them, right? They're turning on and off all the time. But it's a fascinating thing to know that the choices that I make now are going to impact me tomorrow, in 20 years, in 50 years. But for those who are having kiddos, my choices, if I was having kiddos, my choices will impact generations.
Yes.
Like some people say 4, some people say 7, some people say 11. I don't know that we truly know that. But imagine though, we have, like individuals, we each have the ability to create a life, a future of health. I think it's amazing. It's so freaking cool.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Create a future of health. I don't think I've ever heard that before. But I love it.
I mean, we're sitting in this place right now. If we look at our past, right? So I am, say if we go with 7 generations, right? I am created by 7 generations behind me. So if we look at historically, I'm not a great historian by far, but if we look historically at the way people used to live, say even in the 1800s, right? And you go into the Industrial Revolution and we go into canned foods and fake foods and the things, how we moved into how, these not fake, but these processed oils and fats, they're healthy, or no fat, that's healthy. All of these weird fads that we've gone through over the years, and fake foods and preservatives and then toxins.
Yeah.
Look at the trajectory of our health.
Right.
It's crazy. Now, we may live a little bit longer because of technology and medicine, but are we living optimally?
Right.
Many of us aren't, right? We're being kept alive. We're sitting in wheelchairs. We're decaying essentially in assisted living homes. I had a conversation with someone the other day going, it was my chiropractor actually. He was in an assisted living home and he's like, it's awful. He's like, so it's not an upper end one, right? He's like, it's just terrible. It was horrible. And I can't imagine being in a situation, especially me, I don't have kids, right? So it's my husband and me. So I want to make sure, I want to make sure that until the day I die, or at least the best of my ability, right, that I'm up and I'm mobile and I'm doing and I'm functioning and I'm thinking, right?
So weird thought. You remember you're talking about the processed and the fake oils and things. Do you remember Olestra? Remember this?
Yeah.
In the 90s, they were putting it in chips, and you can have all the chips you want. But if you looked at the bag, it said contains Olestra, may cause anal leakage.
Yes. I remember that. I was like, everybody was just like, wait, what?
Well, don't eat the chips. Don't eat those chips unless you're
so bizarre.
So bizarre.
You know, and marketing works so well, right? We've all been duped in so many ways due to really great marketing. And I'm not against marketing, but we have to think and not just sit there and go, oh, this is a food created by humans. It must be great.
Exactly. No, that's true. I know. Well, as an esthetician, I always get angry because, you know, like if you've got a skin issue, right, and you go to the dermatologist, they'll be like, use like Eucerin or something. And they'll be like, there's literally nothing in it. I'm like, nothing but chemicals. Like, that's all it is. It's like all lab created synthetic crap that's like, you know, yeah, it might not have a fragrance, but oh my God.
Yeah.
It's so bad. It's so bad. And going back to the marketing, like, and I'm just going to say it, like Neutrogena is huge and amazingly toxic.
Wicked toxic.
It's just
pretty much everything in a pharmacy is toxic for you. Even the things that they say are natural. Yeah. They're not.
Well, so I love this, where this is going. So Nikki, would it benefit someone? I think you kind of touched on this, is like, think before you buy something. And is there a larger process to this, and like using your intuition, and like if you're getting a sign, a download or whatever, and you're looking at a product and you're going, ooh, I don't know what it is about this, but I don't think this is for me. Like, do you tap into that? Is it too woo?
So that's a great question. I think because I'm pretty jaded at this point. So I don't know that I have to tap into it, because basically I'm like, I know it's bad until you tell me it's not. Unless, and because I've been doing this a long time, even before doing it for, you know, a job, right? For, I don't know, 25 years probably, that I've been I created the habit. It's kind of unintentional. It's more curiosity, right? Where I look at labels.
Yeah.
On everything. Now, I've been duped a few times, don't get me wrong. I'm like, oh, this must be great because they said it was great. And then like months later, I'm looking at the ingredients, went, what was I thinking? But the thing is, so I would say I question everything, literally. And what I would tell anybody who's listening to this, because there are such great resources out there right now that we don't have to sit and take the time and search like I did. There's the, you know, environmental working group is amazing. You can put in a brand, or you can put in, what I do is I put in the search bar EWG and whatever I want to look up. So it might be an ingredient. So it can be a food ingredient. It can be a face care, body care ingredient, shampoo, whatever. It doesn't matter. And you can put that in and it'll come up and it'll rate that. So you can look and see exactly what it says. And it's a huge, huge database.
Yeah.
EWG.
EWG, Environmental Working Group.
Yeah. I used to use that one all the time. Now my brother convinced me to get the Yuka app. It's YUKU.
Yeah.
Because like he's like, I just love to just scan things in the store, and because it works similarly to EWG, where it will literally go through every ingredient and tell you what's good or bad about it, and then you can kind of make that conscious decision. Like I've said to people, you know, it's not like you throw everything out of your house and start fresh like immediately. Like it's kind of a process for most people, you know, and so, you know, you slowly detoxify your life, you know, and you get there. And you know, I always joke because like doing the oils and educating on oils, and that was like my real into realizing how much toxic crap is around us all the time. And but you know, when I look at our household now versus 10 years ago or more, it's far better. And like we have maybe a few hold strong things. Like my husband insists on Dawn dish soap. He insists on his Pantene Pro V, which is only his.
Yeah, that he couldn't give up.
And and that like, and he likes lavender soap, and but like a lot of the lavender soaps still have a lot of cuck in them.
The fragrance.
Yeah, a lot of them have fragrance. Like he bought one from Trader Joe's thinking it would be fine, and then like we scanned it just for fun, and he was like, "Oh my gosh!"
It happens. Yeah.
Yeah, and so you know, but like in reality, though, if his shampoo and conditioner for himself, and his soap, and then the dish soap, which honestly I now keep like a doTERRA dish soap and the Dawn. Right? And for the most part, I use the doTERRA, and then like when it's something really hard, we'll use the so I'm like, we're slowly bringing it down even more, but like
I mean, you know, that seems to make sense. And, you know, you got to work with what works for you, and also bring in what is going to raise the vibration, and that's the things without the toxins.
Exactly.
I love that. I use Dawn dish soap too to get a reset of our clothes. It's great for them.
We only use the traditional one. Like all these other new ones that are like, you can just smell the toxicity like as you put them on the sponge. Oh, sorry.
So
I'm going off.
So I think doTERRA is great. doTERRA is really, really good, and I would do doTERRA too. What I've been using, there is, and I'm not a huge fan of Amazon, but I do use them because it's convenient, right?
Yeah.
But there is a Castile soap that is EWG verified, and it's a big bottle of it, and I use it for our body. I use it for our dish soap. I use it for
I love that.
I love the Castile soap. I make my own hand soap and things like that, like with the Castile and like Castile and aloe actually, and then a little water and oils, and I love it for a lot of things. I haven't convinced him that you can wash dishes with Castile soap though, so.
Yeah. My husband doesn't have a choice, and I hear you. I'm not because maybe
I put it in the doTERRA bottle and he won't.
Yes, or we ran out of Dawn soap. Sorry, honey.
Oops. My husband was hard set on a lot of things as well, and over time. And that's just kind of the process, right? Over time, he moved over, and amazingly, which is really cool. It's been 25 years, and most things he is right where I am.
I love that.
Right. So it just sometimes it's just sort of moving that direction. Yeah.
Exactly. But it's a process, and I think it's empowering though to also know that you can look at the app and make the informed choice of like, okay, I have curly hair and I like to wear it curly. What styling cream is okay for my hair? You know what I mean? And you kind of like look, and I mean, I did find one that's perfect, but at the same time, like, you can make that judgment, like, okay, well, there's only one bad thing and it's not as bad as, like certain things.
6 of one, half a dozen of the other, right?
Right. Exactly.
So Nikki, I was curious, you work in a couple of different areas: food, hormones, gut health, autoimmune. Do you find that you do work in one more than all the others, or what commonly are you working with someone on?
I would say first and foremost gut.
Yeah.
But it's all related, right?
Is.
I mean, so essentially most people will come to me because they're like, oh, I have all of these gut issues. But if somebody comes to me for autoimmune, if somebody comes to me for hormonal dysfunction, we're always going to go to the gut. Because it's just, that's so much of where it originates. And so my goal, the word functional essentially means we want to understand the root cause. We're going to dig and understand the why behind it. And so the things that for me tend to be root cause are going to be microbial infections, fungal infections, mycotoxins, environmental toxins. What am I missing? Trauma, right? So those are the things that tend to be root cause. So that's the stuff that I want to look at first and foremost, kind of before anything else. But that's why I do an intake that is an extremely long intake. And people are like, wow, there's so much here. And there it is. But it's the stuff that I need to know, right? So then it guides me to understand, well, if we're going to start to test, which that's where we really can start to dig in and get good data, we need to know what's going to make the most sense, because not everybody can do lots and lots of testing, right? Because it's out of pocket. So we want to be super targeted as we can to really start to uncover and dig. And then as we move through the process, if we need to do more, then we can. And if they're open to testing more, the more data, the better. But when we have to choose, we want to go to a gut panel. We want to go to a toxin panel first and foremost. And then genetics. I mean, genetics is just the coolest and really is not diagnostic, but helps us understand potential and why panels may come back as they're coming back, which is fascinating stuff. So you layer this stuff in to really start to be able to understand an individual for who they are.
Cool.
Follow-up question on the genetics. If you have someone who is adopted, does not have any contact or know their birth parents at all, and they're having an issue, is there a way for you to get information to help them genetically?
Sure. So a couple of things there. Genetics don't change. So you are your genetics, right? And you are your epigenome, although your epigenome is your potential. So it's always great to know your history.
Right.
But, especially when it comes to your epigenome, right? You're making the choices anyway. Now, there can be some true genetic disorders, right? Down syndrome is a true genetic disorder. But there are others, but it's at most 5% of the disorders that we struggle with, right? Most will say it's probably 3% of the disorders that we struggle with. Most of them are epigenetic, which means their lifestyle. So understanding that piece of it, when we do genetic testing, it's really more, it's more epigenetic testing, because we're looking at specific variants that influence enzymes, that influence metabolic pathways. And so that's the stuff that we don't necessarily need to know a history. It's good, but we don't have to, right? It's another layer that's always great to have in there, but it's not totally necessary.
Okay, that's great to know. You got a doggy that wants to play.
No, he just wants love. I moved my chair and it got him to sit up, so
Dogs are the best.
Yeah.
Shoot, it happened again. What was I going to say? I lost it.
I don't know. Did you find it?
I found it again.
Excellent.
Well, I was just like, Nikki, everything that you're sharing is so good and so interesting, and I'm learning a lot. And you've got a podcast, and I'm guessing that podcast gives more information. And so I'm just curious, can you tell us what your podcast is about?
Yeah. Well, so it's just Taste Life Nutrition Radio and Podcast. So it starts out as a radio show. So the fun thing about it is we stream live one time a week. So it's every Thursday, 10 a.m. We just did it yesterday. We have guests on, and then I'll do it by myself. Like yesterday, I just did it by myself. So that's when I get to talk about the fun stuff that I want to talk about, right? We talk about genetics, and we talk about, yesterday, we talked about food sensitivities. Right? Because people are always, that's the first thing people want to do. I think there's something going on and I want to run my food sensitivity test. So I don't mean to go off too much, but I want people to understand that, is that really the first place we want to go? Or do we want to look at what's causing the food sensitivities in the first place, right? So that was what we talked about yesterday. So yeah, my goal with that show is, it's health and wellness. So it's physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, financial, relational, right? It's all of these things that create a good, healthy, robust health and wellness lifestyle. So yeah, I think to date, everybody's been an entrepreneur. Everybody has a heart of service. Everybody has their story that brought them where they are today, and are doing really great things in the world. And that's really what I want it to be. When I started it in 2000, January of 2000. So we just celebrated 6 years. Yeah.
Wow.
I know. Reaching about, 250, 300,000 people. So we've got a good reach. My goal for that show, the word that came for me and was my word of the year, was just truth. So it's the truth to the best of our ability, right? Science changes. That's part of, who we are as humans, as we grow and we learn more. But the best that we can, we want to bring goodness and truth and just help people figure out what it is that they need if they're struggling or if they want to optimize to do just that.
Wow.
Yeah. I love that. And let's see. Looks like you have your Precision Wellness Blueprint happening soon. Do you want to talk about that?
That's ongoing. So that's basically, there's a little bit of a backstory to that. Do we have, we got
a few more minutes. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I'm always curious, right? But I started to move through perimenopause. And what is happening with my body? What's going on? I'm thankful that I'm a pretty healthy person for the most part, but putting on some weight and just kind of some things. Yeah. So what I started doing is doing more testing. I started doing more research, and I started taking all of this data, including, I've done, 3 or 4 different genetic tests, right? And I say that, genetics don't change, the epigenome doesn't change, but different companies sometimes test different variants or different SNPs, right? So I'm like, okay, here's the cool new thing. Let's input this data. Here's the cool new thing. Let's input this data. And then I would do, like I did the blood sugar monitor, the CGM, right? The continuous glucose monitor. And so I input that data, and then I did an InBody. So I'm looking at my, my body composition. Anyway, so all of these things that you can kind of continue to layer in and layer in and layer in. And I did this over probably the past 6 years that I've been doing this. And I've learned I've learned an amazing amount about me. And then I went, wait a minute. I already do this with my clients, but I can put this into a format that is quicker and simpler, where I have this ability to create. So essentially, the Wellness Blueprint is a report that I put together in a quick session. I say quick, so it's 30, 45 minutes that we sit and we talk about that report. And it's based on body type, glandular type, where you are in life, your gender, your age, your goals, all of these things. So it's basic, but super targeted and individualized. But then, somebody who my thought was, what I'm doing with it is, it's also super approachable financially. It's not like it's, this major program for 6 months or a year that's going to cost a lot of money. And people are like, I can't afford that. And I got tired of hearing I can't afford that. It's like, okay, I want to create something that's still super targeted and affordable. Yeah. Then if people decide, yes, I want to move forward and I want to input labs and genetics and all of the cool stuff, we can do that.
Yep. But
this is affordable. You take this report and you can build on it yourself or with help for the rest of your life, right? Cool. And body's dynamic, it's going to change. But that's sort of what I did is I put everything that I've been learning into this and have it now where it's we can just continue to build as people want to build. We don't have to. That makes sense?
Yeah. That's cool. I love that. Excellent. So
it's fun.
I love that because like people can get a hold of this product, right? That's going to help them. It allows them to get to know you better, right?
Yep.
And trust you and build that relationship so that if they desire more help, here you've got the next thing. You're there to support them.
100%.
Yep. I had a client day before yesterday. It was really fun because we were having our session conversation, and she said, "You gave me my report, and I was reading it, and she just said, how is it that I was reading it and everything was just exactly me?" Like, awesome. That's the point, and that's the hope with all of this. But it was really great because I was able to key in and hone in and then build out. These are your next steps. Without me, right? These are your great next steps. This is a place for you to start. And then if you want more, come back. So it was, I just loved what she said. She's like, how did you know? I was like, well, it's your body. It's not me.
But I love that you presented it in a way that she understood and she felt seen.
Yeah. That is a super important piece of it, right? There's so much unsafety. And I want people to feel safe, and I want people to understand that there are solutions and there are answers, because we can feel so often so powerless, especially when we've been moved through the system over and over and over and over again and not getting the answers that we need.
Exactly.
There are answers. Sometimes it just takes time figuring them out,
Wow.
Yeah.
I love this. I love this conversation. And I love the doggy tail.
The dog tail that's just wagging. Like, he's like,
oh,
you love me?
I didn't miss anything here.
Yeah.
Here we
go. He's like, oh, they don't love me.
Perfect. Dog tails belong everywhere.
They do. Absolutely. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much for being our guest. This was amazing, and
so much.
I loved having this conversation. And your precision wellness thing sounds awesome. We'll have to have the link for that for people to check that out and sign up for that. And obviously, we'll share your podcast as well in the show notes. So it'll be good. And thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.
Ooh, and don't forget, if you've loved this episode, don't forget to like and subscribe because it really does help us out to spread our light so that you can shine your light.
I will be sharing it also. Yes.
Yay! Thank you, and have a good one. We'll see you next time.
Thank you. Appreciate y'all so much.
Bye.